crafters, just like I promised, I was going to be back today to show you how to make the gift box for the Christmas crackers. So this is going to be a small gift that you can make for someone special or for somebody that you just have a quick gift that you'd like to give to. The other thing that you can use this box for is other types of candy or other types of items that you want to show off. Maybe you know, you have a different kind of ornament or something like that. So let's get to it, and we'll work on our box for our Christmas crackers. So the first thing that you're going to need is one piece of solid cardstock, and it needs to be a 12 by 12 cardstock, and we are going to measure it out at 11.5 by 12. So you're going to cut off a 1/2 inch on your cardstock, and you can use white cardstock, you can use colored cardstock. For this one I used a solid cardstock, but it has a little bit of a shimmer on it, so whatever you'd like to use. Nothing too thick. Thickness is good, but nothing like 120 pounds or anything like that. That might be a little bit of an overkill for this type of a box. So starting out with our 11.5 by 12 inch cardstock, we are going to score on our sides. We are going to score at 1 1/4 and 3 on all 4 sides. So that's 1 1/4 and 3. Oops, 1 1/4 and 3. Next one is at 1 1/4 and 3. That's all the scoring that we're going to do on the solid cardstock. Next, we're going to come along with our pattern paper or a designer paper, and I'm going to use this one. I suggest to use a cardstock that isn't directionally based. It makes it a lot faster and easier if you don't, because you don't have to worry about how the pattern runs. So what we're going to do with this is we are going to cut this down to 8 1/16 by 7 9/16. Now, I'm going to tell you that I made so many mistakes when I was measuring out my own measurements. See, look at the other box tops that I made. All of them I made too big because I wasn't paying attention to my 16th measurement. So I just want to encourage you to really take a look at where your 16th measurements are on these papers. So the first side is going to be 8 1/16. And so the 1/16 is actually, if you look at your scoring tool, you can see that like this is 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, and then in between that is the 1/8, and then next to that is the 16th. So we are going to go right at that line at 8 1/16. So we're going to go and cut that. Our next cut is then going to be, and this is what I kept messing up, is going to be 7 9/16. So if you figure that 8/16 is 1/2 inch, 9/16 is 1/16 above 1/2. I measured it out at 8 9/16, and then 7 and something. I don't know what I was doing. I just kept messing up. So we're going to go at 7 9/16. So remember, 8/16 is 1/2 inch, and we're only going 1/16 above that. I think that's always my nemesis when I'm making anything, is that I'm always, I measure wrong. I go to the next number or something like that. So then on the right side of the paper, we are going to measure or score at 1 inch on all 4 sides. And then that's all the measuring. or scoring that we're going to be doing on these boxes. The next thing that we're going to do is to cut out the window in our box. So the way that I found that this was the easiest for me to do was I measured on all my sides on the opposite side of the box. I came down here and I measured up 1 inch, 1 inch from, or 2 inch, well, 1 inch from my score line, 2 inches from the side of the paper. So what I'm going to do is, see, this is where I was measuring it wrong again. Here, I was going at 2 1/4. That's where I made the mistake on another box. So, see what I mean? I just got to make sure I really, really watch that. I'm going to get myself a sharper pencil. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw in here, or pencil mark in here, where my 2 inch mark is. And I also have, I cut this out on my cutter, and then I did really good the first time, and then the second time I ended up cutting past my lines, and so that wasn't good. There we go. So then I'm going to push this up to the corner. It's amazing how hidden the lines become, even though when you don't want to see them, you can always see them. So then here is our other line going across. So that's our line going up there. And my line going there. And that's our line right there. So I want to create kind of a corner with where my line is, and where the other measurement is. So that's that. Need to do one more here. All right, so then I'm just going to take this, and the reason why I'm doing this is because it's just easier for me to see. And I always figure that I can, at best, I can erase the pencil marks the next time, you know, before I get done with the box. Just me. Let me get this measured up. There we go. And our box should then measure, see what I just said, the box should measure, that's 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. Okay, so then our box is going to measure 3.75 by 4. Okay, so we're going to take this in here, and rather than use my trimmer, I am going to use my cutter, or my, what do you call it, blade. And the best way to do this is to go lightly and pass, and then take a couple passes through it, rather than doing it very heavily the first time. It just doesn't work. It really makes the cutting so much more difficult, and usually with design paper like this you can go through with one pass, but you know, take 2 passes, be careful, and just make sure that you are just going slowly with it. And ask me how I know about the whole going too heavy and going too quick with it. It just doesn't work very well. I've had many a cut that, you know, I overcut or undercut. If you're wondering where I got this, this is the tonic blade, and I really, really like it. I got it in one of their kits for free. There was a time when they were giving out a lot of gifts, like bigger gifts in their kits, and that was a couple of years ago. I'm not sure if they're still doing it. I'm not doing the kits anymore, partly because I'm just not doing as many cards. And one of the things that I have considered is doing what I did with this, because I figured this is a box that was probably just going to get thrown away after the crackers were used, that I wasn't going to go ahead and put, you know, frame it around and everything on my cover, because it's just more than I need to do for a box of something that's going to get used and then thrown out. So what I just did on my box, my other box that I made, was I just put the acetate inside. So then you're going to have a box that looks like this, and we are going to cut up to the score line, and then we are going to miter these tabs on both sides. And the truth is that it doesn't matter a lot about which way you cut these tabs, in the sense that if the tab's going to go onto here or onto here, just so that you have a tab that goes all the way around is the most important thing. So don't be too, I frequently cut them in a round pattern like I'm doing right now, because a lot of times I meant to do it another way, and then I all of a sudden made the cut the wrong way, so just went, but it doesn't really matter. The only time that it really, really matters is when you are using the tabs for greater stability on a box. That's the only time it really, really matters. And then I'm not going to be tabbing or mitering on the side of the box because I want to, because these are going to be square. So now I'm not going to put this together yet until I have the bottom part done, because once we have the bottom part done, I'm going to show you how I'll wrap that around. So then with our solid piece of cardstock, what I'd like you to do is take that and go ahead and burnish all those score lines. And this is the artisan cardstock that I got at Country Craft Creations. The paper, the DSP paper that I'm using is from Cartabella. It's Farmhouse Christmas that I also got at Country Craft Creations. But if you're ever looking for a good cardstock, it's not in 10 million different colors, but I'd say there's about 15 different colors, and it's just wonderful for really for any types of projects with cardstock, but especially with mini albums. Boxes really is a nice weight. It's about an 85, 86 pound, 87, something like that weight for the cardstock. All right. So then once we have that all mitered, what we want to do is, this is actually going to be the reinforcement side to our box, meaning that it is, it's going to help to make this side a little bit more solid. So what we're going to do is cut off from the other side of the score line, and we're going to cut. I'm having such a hard time with scissors these days. Just not comfortable using so many of them. So we're going to cut that all the way down, and then we'll cut this all the way off, and we will cut this off as well. And actually you can just go ahead to miter this top piece, and we'll miter this flap as well. And I'll show you a picture of what it looks like here when I'm done with this side. So when you're done, if you look at this, oh, I forgot this side here. I want to miter this as well. So if you were done, I wonder if I can put that behind it if that's easier to see. You'll see that this is an edge here, this is mitered, this is an edge here. And I'm going to do that all the way around on my box. And I'll be right back when that's done. Okay, now that we have that part of our bottom part cut and ready, of course I made a little mistake again, but the first thing that we're going to do is to put the bottom part of this box together. And as you can see, I cut this way. I have a tendency to do it in a roundabout fashion all the time, but it's okay. It's not going to make any difference to really what we're doing. So what we're going to do here is just get this stuck together. If our glue will come out. And we're not going to do this top part until we have all the tabs put into our box. And once we have that done, then we can put the top part of our box down. There we go, almost there. I hope you find all of these little boxes useful for your Christmas gift giving, but remember they can be used for birthdays or other times of the year for other types of gifts. So don't forget about that. All right. So then we're just going to go along on the cardstock, and we are going to bend that into our box. And what that should do is give us a nice seam on the top of the box, plus give us a little bit of sturdiness to it. And part of the reason why this is done is just I didn't want to waste all that cardstock, and I thought making the box a little bit more sturdy on the bottom was good. And that one goes down and over. And if you need to, you can pull out your clothespins or clips or whatever you use for holding things down or together. You can go and do that. All right, so we've gotten everything in here. Just going to take this box apart because I want to just show you what this looks like. And you can see in here that this is where I just taped in the acetate. So for these, we're just going to take these and slip these right into our box. And we've got all our box, or all of our crackers in there nice and tight, nice and tidy. So then what we want to do is to put this together. Now, I'm not going to put the acetate in this because I'm waiting for a shipment of some acetate to come in, and I could use some of my other bags, but I'm just going to wait for my acetate to come in because I'd like to use that on this box. So what we're going to do is I'm going to glue two sides of this. So, or two tabs, I shouldn't say two sides, one side, but two tabs. I want to put the two tabs together, make sure that I'm joining the corners properly, and you know, with your tab is mitered, make sure you're not looking to match the mitering to the top of the edge. And then what I do is I will put this into this part of the cover, and I'm going to glue these other tabs, and then that way I'll be sure that it will fit around my box. And I like to do it, I've seen it where people do the four sides. I like to do just the one side, or this, gluing these two tabs together at the end, because I find that I have a hard time doing it the other way. Quite honestly, I can't hold that much. So this is the way it works best for me, and that way I know that my box lid is going to go around my box and that we are not going to be off. So there you go. That is our cracker box. And again, I would just put, what I did before is I recommend putting some thin score tape around the inside of the box and then putting your acetate down. So your acetate that I would suggest to do is to do acetate like 4.5 by 4 3/4 and putting that all the way around, or you could do 4.5 by 4 3/4, and that'll be going around that. And I just put a thin piece of the 1/8 score tape. I did try to use art glitter glue, and I use art glitter glue for everything, but for some reason, I even let it sit overnight. It just did not stay for me. So it could be just, you know, it could be user or operator error, however they say that. And that could be it. So that is the box, and that is for how quick it is to make this type of a box. And I hope that you all enjoy it. And again, I'll be back tomorrow with another video for another quick project. So we'll see you later. Please, if you do enjoy these videos, please like and subscribe. Liking really makes a difference on the videos and ability for others to see those videos. So thank you so much. Have a Merry Christmas.